Hello, guys. It's another home edition of the Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, and this time there's a lot more to talk about. Most importantly, whilst we are delving into the issue, it's the preview of Chelsea's game tomorrow between Chelsea Football Club and, of course, Fulham. Fulham are going to play at home at the Craven Cottage. Chelsea are going away to Fulham. So basically, you already know, in London, before Chelsea did come to party, it was Fulham that were taking charge of everything in Southeast London. But then, of course, Chelsea did creep up. They've won the most trophies. They've been the most successful club compared to every other club in London. But then again, in recent times, Fulham have been in very good shape, especially under their current manager, Marco Silva. Last season, they played very, very well with that same 4-2-3-1. Albeit some few changes this time. They are not finding the result that you expect them to get. But of course, they are one of the most difficult to play sides in the English Premier League this season. Marco Silva's Fulham's are waiting Chelsea tomorrow. Tomorrow, actually 8 p.m. UK time at the Craven Cottage. Of course, 7 p.m. Ghana time. So we delve right into the tactical pre-match analysis. And how do we expect the game to pan out? I think it's going to be a very difficult game, actually. If you look at how Fulham do play and how difficult they are, the fact that they are one of the top two sides that have kept the most clean sheets in the English Premier League, one of the best defense the English Premier League thus far, and of course they're going against the Chelsea side that have a very huge XG, but they fail to convert them to scoring chances, and also the fact that Nicolas Jackson is out of the team. It is something that's a matchup. It's a difficult nut to crack for Mauricio Pochettino's side. But first, let's start with Mauricio Pochettino. In the last few days, especially after the Brighton game, everybody knows that wasn't the best performance. But of course, Chelsea just needed to win. And they did the most important thing. Nicolas Jackson did score a goal. It could have been a very, very good run for Nicolas Jackson if he had not accumulated those number of yellow cards. And if he could have played in this game. Because obviously, the game that he played in Brighton, where he scored a goal, gave him some confidence. Of course, there was another goal that was ruled out for offside. But then post-match, if you watch that goal, you realize that actually wasn't an offside goal, actually. So if he was going to be in this Fulham game, definitely would have been some very, very good confidence booster for him. But it's a shame that just after 5 games, he has accumulated 5 yellow cards and he can't really play in this Fulham game. Of course, apart from him also, Malo Gusto did get a matching orders, red card. It's a 2-game ban. Apart from Fulham, he has a last game that he's going to serve. So that's where the 2 players are going to miss out for Chelsea. For Fulham, they seem to have a very, very full squad in there. João Paulinho, after the debacle with FC Bayern Munich, is back into the team and he's firing. Tim Ream is back into the team. Raul Jimenez isn't really filling to the boot of Mitrovic. But then again, it's a difficult side to break down. And who analyze that? But Mauricio Pochettino has said that, you know what, whilst at the beginning he said that Chelsea needs to win and win now, it's also imperative that people do understand that the team is in a transitional phase and it's a new project and that it's going to take some time to get to exactly where they want to get. And yeah, there are always going to be these rough patches. Reports in London, however, do suggest that Chelsea are in a good place. There is no stress. If you go to Fulham, the atmosphere is calm. Everybody is patient because the data does suggest that Chelsea are in a good place. And then it looks as if they are going to get the goals in there because they are all the teams with all the best XGs, all the teams, one of the lowest XGs against, one of the teams with one of the best possessions, one of the teams with the best shots, counter attacks leading to shots actually. So it's fairly a good database. But the issue, however, is the conversion rate of the team, the efficiency in front of post. Nicolas Jackson hasn't really converted that much as you need. You compare it to Erling Haaland, he gets the same chances, gets into the same positions, but Erling Haaland gets to convert. He doesn't get to convert. The reasons are there, and they will analyze it. But he's out of this game. Armando Broja has returned from training, has returned from injury. He played a part in the game against Brighton and Hove Albion. You could tell that he's sharp. He has always looked that sharp and how you expect him to be. Broja has a lot of pace. He has a very, very good upper body strength, holds up the play well. It's a different dynamic of a striker compared to what Nicolas Jackson does give to Chelsea. He doesn't morrow too much. He holds on to the ball, bring other players into play. People can run off him. And of course, he's able to pull 1 or 2 centre-backs to himself to open up those spaces for the wingers to attack. So, yes, he may not start in this game, but he's back. Also, Chelsea were also excited to announce the fact that Kani Chukwuemeka, who had suffered an injury to at the London Olympic Stadium against West Ham is also back into the fray. I do not expect him to start, but it's a big news for Chelsea. The fact that they have one of their best in between the lines player, in between the lines midfielder. Out post the injury of Nkunku, Kane Chukwuemeka was tasked with the job of creating and receiving in between the lines and then trying to make something happen. He did a brilliant job, scored a goal against West Ham United, but then really he got injured and way ahead of time. Kane Chukwuemeka is back for Chelsea Football Club. Rhys James is in the gunning to return in the game against Arsenal. Chelsea seem to be getting their players back into the fold. Benoit Bedlashile is also in the running. Very soon he's going to be back onto full training and everything is going to be Chelsea Football Club. But Chelsea have met Fulham in the last 6 times. Last season, Fulham won 1 and drew 1 against Chelsea. A lot of the middle table clubs last season actually had success against Chelsea. They won 1, they draw 1 against them. It's the same for teams like Bournemouth and the likes last season. They found excitement in making sure that they stress Chelsea. At least they win 1, they draw 1 against Chelsea, get 4 points. And then that's how most of those teams were able to stay afloat in the English Premier League. Chelsea would want to get these points because it's important that they push up to the top of the Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur did win. Liverpool are in there. Manchester City are in good form. Albeit they lost yesterday to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal continue that winning streak. They are unbeaten together with Tottenham Hotspur. The 2 London clubs are unbeaten. So that's the shape of the table. That's with injury list from Chelsea. But how really is the game going to pan out on the field of play tactically? We'll run into it quickly. My name again is Fiifi-Manfred. Do not forget to subscribe and then turn on your notification. You choose all in notification, because it is here that you get the best of tactical previews and post-match analysis with the betting tips. Yes, it's important. So make sure you turn on notification, share it to your friends, choose all. But let's get straight into it. Mauricio Pochettino is a stubborn guy. I don't expect him to change too much, even with Malo Gusto injured. I think that there's going to be a semblance of that back four that went into the Brighton and Hove Albion game in this game against Fulham. So I'm expecting, of course, Robert Sanchez, who wasn't too good in terms of distribution in that game against Brighton, but effectively his saves were brilliant. And if that's anything to go by in a team that needs to get a lot of confidence, you need a goalkeeper that will help in terms of saves, so that he can help shut out some goals, shut out some shots as well. So I'll still agree with Robert Sanchez to join in as the #1 goalkeeper in polls. Of course, Georgi Petrovic, you've still not seen him. He's still on the bench for Chelsea Football Club. But Robert Sanchez is in polls for this Fulham game. Levi Cole is going at left back. Even when Benjamin Chilwell was fit, Levi was playing a fullback, a left fullback. So I'm expecting Levi to be in there. Those balls that he's able to pick from deep areas and then pass them through to the path of Mudryk and every other person on the left-hand side. You know, when you are playing wingers like Mudryk, you don't necessarily need somebody to do an overlapping runs. Maybe sometimes an underlapping run. Maybe sometimes someone to invert into the middle of the park to receive and then play forward. But necessarily, you don't need overlapping players. You need players in some form of close proximity, because Mudryk keeps the width a lot of the times. He's a good crosser. So you don't need somebody a fullback to run to the byline to do the crossing. So that's why most of the times when you're playing Mudryk, you want someone like Levi Cole, what's his name? Marco Correa also. I think Marco Correa and Levi and Mudryk fit very well on that wing actually. But Mauricio Pochettino is not too excited about Marco Correa. And then so I think that he still go with Levi Cole at left fullback. Thiago Silva, Axel Desasi will maintain the 2 centre-back spots. Big, bulky, very good on the ball. Thiago, excellent diagonal passer. Same for the Axel Desasi. And then, of course, at right back, that is the bigger problem. Because the 2 right backs are out. Rhys James is out injured. In fact, he's going to return. But then again, there's a possible ban waiting for him or a fine, because there's a report that he did abuse a referee in the tunnel. But right apart from that, also, Malo Gusto did receive a red card, in that game that Chelsea played at home. So he's going to be out of this one. It means that against Brighton, Marco Correa played at right back. Was brilliant against Kuro Mutoma. So yes, it's a game that he can play at right back too. He seems to be putting in a lot of shifts after everything that has gone on there. There's also Ian Matheson that can play at right back for Chelsea Football Club also. So you expect that maybe either Ian Matheson or Marco Correa will be there. I'll go for Marco Correa, given the showing that he played. I think Pochettino sees Ian Matheson more as an attacker than a defender. So I'd rather push him up top and see if he gets some space up in front. The most balanced midfield pair in the middle of the park in a double pivot should be Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. For some reason, Pochettino loves the transitional defensive job of Conor Gallagher so much so that he tends to play him with Caicedo and then pushes Enzo Fernandez up to. That's not getting the best out of Enzo Fernandez. Enzo is a more of a deep line playmaker. So you'd want to keep him close to Moise Caicedo to help in terms of build-up and then to push the ball forward. Moise Caicedo clutched to his knee a couple of times before the game ended against Brighton and Hove Albion. But then it looks as if he may be fit to play in this game. If he is fit, of course, you need him there. I think he played very well. He kept it simple. He was very good in terms of press resistance ability and all of those things. So yes, you would want him to be in there. Of course, there's a possibility that if Conor Gallagher starts, I would love him to play as a number 10 and to crash the box. It's important for his profile. He has a knack for goal. He has the shot power. He can crash the box and then play very well for Chelsea. On the wings, however, on the left-hand side, I'm expecting Mihailo Mudryk to be in there next to Levi Cole. He showed some stinks of good stuff in the last game that Chelsea played. You're expecting him to be there. Cole Palmer will play on the right-hand side, possibly, or as a number 10 if Gallagher is not playing. But I'm thinking Cole Palmer will be from the wing. And of course, we have a false number 9 this time in Raheem Sterling. The possibilities are also that Noni Madueke is probably going to be in the team. Kani Chukwuemeka is going to be in the team. It means that there's a lot more quality on the bench for Chelsea to change things, actually, if they do want to change, if Mauricio Pochettino wants to change. Noni Madueke can bring a different dynamics in terms of the wide area threat that he brings, in terms of the stretching of the play, the 1v1 threat, and then the final pass, the final ball from out wide. Noni Madueke gives you that. So it's a fair balance of a team that's going to Craven Cottage. Of course, there's Armando Broja, who, if the game wears on for the latter part of the game, he can come and do some 20, 25, 30 minutes for Chelsea Football Club when Raheem Sterling is injured. So that's how I expect Chelsea to set up. Of course, for Fulham, I'm expecting Ben Leno to be in pose. The 4 backs, of course, is going to be Timothy Castagna from Leicester City. I'm expecting Tim Ream, Diop, and then, of course, Robinson. I'm expecting a double pivot of Reed and João Paulinho. Brilliant stacker, brilliant defender in João Paulinho in the middle of the park. Then up top, there is Bobby de Cordova, Reed, and Pereira. And, of course, William making the 3 in front, just behind the striker, and Raúl Jimenez are in there. So, now, there are 2 ways I think this game should go. Now, Fulham are going to try and press mid-block. They'll push up sometimes, they'll sit back, they'll wait for the pressure and then go on a counter-attack with Williams Pace, Pereira, and of course, Bobby de Cordova Reed. Now, all of these attackers are very, very good in the transition, especially with Raúl Jimenez. He's not so much in form. He's waiting for that form that he had when he was at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, essentially, he's not the kind of player that you'd want, especially after that injury that he had at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So it means that I'm expecting Chelsea to have some greater share of the ball and to dictate the pace of the game. If the lineup goes according to play, it means that Chelsea are going to see a lot of ball retention. And then in the middle of the park, now for the very first time in a long time, if Cole Palmer is playing as a 10, it means that there's going to be a lot of reception in central areas. Chelsea possibly can break this team down. I mean, in the tactical analysis, exactly I'm expecting it to go. Mihailo Mudryk should keep the width, pull the players 1v1. I'm only looking at the off-the-ball work of Mihailo Mudryk and what he can give to the team. I think he's showing those things, and he should be able to do that. Essentially, it's a team that is fair balance, given what Chelsea have seen in recent times and the confidence. I'm expecting that Chelsea gets to win this game against Fulham. It's a difficult one. I mean, for the investors, it's a double chance for Chelsea or even Fulham. But if Chelsea gets to score more goals in this game, I won't be surprised. If Chelsea wins, I won't be surprised because of 2 things. Because now they're going to be much more dynamic front 3. Nicholas Jackson is not going to be the main guy again. A lot of mobility in front with Palmer, Sterling, Mudryk, Madueke, whoever is on the field of play. A lot of mobility is going to be on. They're going to have different profiles. Inside receivers in Cole Palmer. If Chukwuemeka comes in, brilliant between the lines receiver. Wide area threat, 1v1, Mudryk, Madueke in there from wide areas. And then, of course, in the middle, very good ball carriers in Sterling. If Armando Broja comes up, he is a big bulky center forward to hold up play and to get these guys to run off him. So there are different dynamics, different variations of players, different profiles, who I think in that mix should be able to break down this very stubborn Fulham side. Yes. This is where we draw the curtain. I don't know what you think of the Chelsea game. The game is tomorrow. 8 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. Ghana time. But I want to hear from you. Tell me what your predictions are. What are your comments in the comment section? Tell me what you want us to improve here. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. Thank you very much. I'll see you. Make sure you take good care of yourself. Bye.